When was the last time your living room felt like a place of rest instead of a drop zone for shoes, toys, laundry, and overwhelm? We say that the living room is the heart of the home, but if we're honest, the living room often becomes the place where everything ends up, but nothing really gets put away sometimes. It's where the clutter piles, the screens distract, where connection can be lost under piles of I'll get to it later. But what if this space could be reclaimed? Not just cleaned. What if your living room could reflect the spiritual rest that Jesus promises in Matthew chapter 11 verse 28? Come to me all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Today we're not just fluffing pillows and cleaning surfaces, but creating a space for connection, for restoration, and for presence. So let's take a deep breath and let's just take it one basket at a time, one bookshelf and one burden, one pile at a time. Today I am going to be decluttering my living room with you guys. I am going to be starting inside of my coat closet because this closet can often fill up with a ton of clutter. As you can see, we have way more coats than we need, and of course, there are plenty of cold months in the winter here where I live up north, but I just don't think that it's necessary for us to have so many coats. There are literally some coats that I wear specifically for certain occasions. Like if I just so happen to be going to a wedding, there's one coat that I just like to do winter yard work in, like raking the leaves. And then there is my comfy coat, my church coat. Basically, we have a lot of coats, and so does my husband and my son as well. So I'm just trying to go through and see what I can minimalize in here. It's literally like bursting out of the closet and just overflowing. And this is just one of the things that we see when we wake up in the morning and as soon as we come down the stairs. And I don't know about you, but the first thing that I see when I come downstairs in my home to open up the blinds is definitely not a coat closet overflowing with cluttering. So it was really imperative that I focused on this space first as I am creating more room for peace inside of my home. I do think that things that we have in our home has a lot to do with the peace that we also have inside of our heart. And I think it's so truly important that we steward things that we have and steward our blessings. There are people that may be able to use these coats a lot more than we have a need for them. Obviously, we, need coats, but we just don't need this many. And there are definitely people in the world who just don't even have a coat. So when decluttering and minimalizing, don't just look at it as you just throwing away all of your favorite prized possessions because honestly, they're just for us or for me personally, they're just material things. But for someone else, it might mean so much more. So it can definitely truly be a blessing when you minimalize and declutter some of the things in your home if you have a purpose of repurposing it or donating it for someone who really does truly need it a lot more than you. There's so much beauty in giving and sharing. When we let go of something that is just trash to us, then that's one thing. That's something that's easily done. But imagine if we were to let go of something that we actually really do like and we really do love, but we are giving it away to somebody else who needs it more. And that way, it's a bit more sacrificial. And we're also relying on the Lord to provide us with the things that we need in full abundance. So I like to keep that mindset when letting go of things, never to be so tied to my things that I feel like I just can't let it go, that I feel like I can't share it and give it to others. I just try to see myself living a lot more simple and a lot more minimal so that I'm relying on the Lord to provide us with the things that we need. And so here inside of my coat closet, that's what I'm doing with some of these really nice, thick, warm coats. I love these coats and they serve a really great purpose for me. But again, it's just that we have more than what we need, and then there's someone else who is going to need them more than us. I do this with clothing, I do this with shoes, even with furniture. We're probably like the dumpster diver's favorite house in the neighborhood because we're constantly like letting go of things since we've been in this minimalism journey and this simple living journey and decluttering. We're just constantly putting more and more things, and you would think that we would have been done by now just by seeing how much we've been putting outside, and constantly we get to see like other people come and pick it up and it never actually ends up in the trash but in someone else's home. And it is really like just good feeling to see that someone else needed your item more than you did. Here in this living room, I'm just trying to create more space so that I could just look at this place with fresh eyes. I'm not trying to make it perfect. I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'm not trying to be trendy, but I'm just trying to make it more peaceful and more hospitable so that even when other people come over to my home, it's a lot more comfortable. More room for the children to sit in the middle of the floor and play games and things like that. The living room is supposed to be where we connect, but sometimes it just feels more like a space where we're constantly managing than enjoying, and just not even a lot of space for us to be able to connect. There have been times where we wanted to have guests or company over and someone wanted to come over, but I thought about how my living room looked and I was like, oh my goodness, we cannot have guests over right now because my home is a mess. Where, are we going to host and entertain? And so if you have just a few things that you even have to manage and keep tidy, it's a lot more easy for you to be that hospitable person that, the Bible encourages us to be. In Luke chapter 10, it tells the story of Mary and Martha. Martha was busy, like most of us moms and homemakers are. She was making everything ready all the time. She wanted the home to feel welcoming. But then Jesus said, Mary has chosen what is better. But what did Mary choose? It definitely was not perfection. And that's not to say that what Martha wasn't doing wasn't important either, but what Mary chose was to be present. What if we viewed our living rooms that same way? Not as a place to keep looking like a magazine, but a place where we just sit at Jesus' feet through rest, relationships, and renewal. How beautiful would that really be? Proverbs chapter 15, verse 16 tells us, better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure with trouble. You do not need more throw pillows. Instead, you need more peace. God can meet you right here, in between the toys, in between the clutter. Here I am now decluttering some of the hats that we have. This is just another one of those things where, why do we need so many hats? I am a stay-at-home mom. I do not leave the house that often. When I do go outside, it might be to take a walk. It may be to rake some leaves, put some salt down, but I'm not outside often enough to need this many hats and gloves. They're great to have, but it's just not necessary. And so I'm trying to go through and declutter this a little bit more as well. I'm looking for the ones that are still in good shape, the ones that I know I have gone to. This stack here is just a pile of them that I don't often wear, and so I'm getting rid of those and putting those in the box so that we can donate those to someone else who will need it. And now I'm looking for the matching sets, like hats and gloves and scarves that match and go with one another, and we're gonna put those away. I'm gonna try and fit it all inside of this basket so that it looks somewhat neat at the top of my closet and not just like a big cluttered mess. So that is kind of what I'm doing here, just going through our hats, our scarves, and gloves. It's actually cold more months of the year than it is warm here, so we do put the stuff to get used. So normally I would just put the stuff away in the garage, but I'm almost 100% sure it's gonna feel like I just put it away when I go to pull it back out. So to save myself the hassle, it's just so much easier, like I said, to just be able to declutter. I would love to just only have so much stuff that technically all of my seasonal items can fit inside of one closet, like winter, summer, fall, all of the things. If they could all fit inside of one closet without me having to dig them out of the garage, then I would say I have like really done a great job at minimizing my wardrobe and everything. But for now, we are just starting with the coat closet, with the hats, with the scarves, and things like that. If you too are decluttering with me, maybe you don't stay in a state where it's often, cold, or where the seasons change up as much as mine. Maybe you've already done this part. Whatever it is that you're decluttering, I still want to, encourage you and invite you to walk through the space with me. Again, we're just taking it one zone at a time. Your journey is not going to look like mine's, but, there are plenty of opportunity surfaces, like coffee tables, end tables, entertainment centers. These are normally those clutter magnets where the books pile up and the remote controls, the cords. I'm going to show you guys one very soon. And so if you're doing this with me, go ahead and grab a basket and just toss in anything that does not belong, in that room. And then we'll use that basket later on to put things away. If you have toys, like for your little ones, this is also big. Pick a small bin that you just keep inside of your living room, just one, and then the rest of the toys go back into the bedroom. Books and decor, ask yourself, do those bring you peace? Do they bring you pressure? If it's dusty, broken, or never read, it's okay to let it go. And then the same thing with blankets and pillows. Only keep what's cozy and just put the rest of them away. Remember, it's not about stripping the room bare, but just about making space where our soul and our family can breathe. Here I'm just breaking down the swing that you guys see. This was baby girl's swing, and she hasn't been able to fit in this swing, or let me not say that, she can fit in it, but I'm pretty sure she's over the weight limit and she just doesn't like it anyway. So it was one that we had kept like in our gym. We would take it outside and she would sit in it when we were gardening, but she doesn't use it anymore. So I'm gonna put it away. This here is my entertainment table that I was talking about earlier when I said this is a clutter magnet to the fullest. And we actually have a lift top coffee table here. That's what this is. It's a lift top coffee table that used to be in the middle of the floor, but when baby girl began being mobile and moving around, crawling and trying to walk, we got it out of the middle of the floor, and we like it better here underneath the TV, out of the way. But still, game controllers and everything just gets cluttered here. I try not to bother it too much, which I'll talk about later in the video, but I at least want things to somewhat look tidy. So this here is kind of like the best I was able to do for now. We will revisit it. This is also the area where we are homeschooling, so I decided to take some things off the wall. We had a small dry erase board, a bulletin board. We got like a lamp in the middle of the floor. This area, like you can see, it's just not the room that gives me like that homeschool piece that I'm looking for. So this is another area that I'm trying to declutter as well. Alright, you guys, so this room is definitely like by far not perfect, but it's definitely a lot more manageable now. There are a few areas that I'm going to be keeping my eye on over the next few weeks. I'm going to show you guys what it's looking like, and then I'll show you guys the family room so that you guys can kind of see the difference in progress I made. I went through some mail on the desk and things like that, so let's just take a look around really quickly. So, of course, now over here is probably the main source of clutter. And this is just my husband and my son's little gaming area. It is not very organized, and they are at this area every single day. So it's not like an area that they don't use. And so I want it to be comfortable, but I don't want to just take it away to where they can't even enjoy it. So yeah, tons of things here. I'm gonna see if there's anything we can do to minimize this area a little bit more. We have storage underneath this lift top table, so maybe some things can go under there. We'll see, but that's literally the main thing right now. I was contemplating if I should get rid of that blanket. Sometimes blankets and throw pillows can definitely add to visual clutter, but the goal of minimalizing and decluttering is to make your home more comfortable. That is one of those things I like to snuggle up on the sofa with if I'm nursing baby girl or if the air conditioning is on. So I'm gonna keep it there. It's a basic, simple color and it's comfy. We're gonna leave that there. So that's this area here. This won't be here forever, but for now, this is like a playpen, and I even used the top to change my daughter's diaper. So convenient. And then here is the homeschool area, which we minimized to a desk, an alphabet poster, an alphabet rug, and a bookshelf. We do have a basket over here that I like to keep in case anything comes into this room that needs to be put back in its place. It can go in this basket, and then we can get that basket at the end of the week and put things back where they belong. So it also helps with keeping the home tidy, that way they're not scattered all over the home, and then you can put them back where they go. I've been recommending that for some years now. This side of the room, I don't quite like that space for the vacuum, but it's not a huge deal for me right now. We have the keyboard the baby swing that we're gonna get a box, and that's not gonna be here anymore. So feel better about that soon because she no longer uses it. We're not going to completely get rid of it because I know we're going to have more children in the future, God willing. So we'll find a box that we can put that in and where we can store it away neatly in the garage. I don't want to do it right now because I don't know exactly where I want to put it in the garage, that swing there. So once I figure that out, we'll break it down and put it away. But we did break down the other swing and put that one away. And then this is my little desk area. So over here, we've got some cord management under there for baby proofing, my printer, another camera, and then I also have my label printer for my business. This doesn't always stay up here. I actually store that in the garage. I'm able to print a lot of labels quickly. That's here for now. So up here on my desk, I have another basket. This basket is things that need to be put away as well. This is just one of those areas that I often can gather a lot of things up here that I need to later put in its home. So keeping a basket here is going to be beneficial as well. And then I can put all of the stuff back at the end of the week. I've got a couple of books that I like to read in the morning. So I keep some in my room and some down here to read. And that's fine. Baby monitor. The only other thing is this wall here, because we took down the bulletin board. I'm probably going to replace even that calendar with one large board that has like multi-use. So on Amazon, I saw a learning board that has like a dry erase marker section, a chalk section, a bulletin section, and I think maybe a calendar section. If there isn't a calendar section, we can always pin a calendar to the bulletin section, but basically it's a multi-use board. So instead of me having like a bulletin board and then having a dry erase board somewhere else, a chalkboard in a different area, a calendar, like 4 different boards all over the wall, we can get that one multi-use board and then I'll put it up over there. That's what I'm gonna do. In the meantime, I still have our calendar because it is kind of multi-use, it's just smaller. So I've got some of his spelling words here, and then some of the things from church camp are pinned down here, and then our calendar. So here's the family room, and there's definitely some places of clutter. This area is cluttered. I have some things I gotta put into the garden over here. I'm not a fan of that rug there. These are my son's toys that he's currently playing with right now, so he can put that stuff away soon. Up there next to the television, a little bit of clutter over there. Those toys underneath the table, those are there purposely. So that's pretty much it in here. So pretty much what I have been doing is trying to declutter my home for a couple of years now, but not in a minimalistic type of way. Just recently, I began to lean towards more minimalism, and I will explain why about that in a separate video in the next coming weeks. I talked a lot about it thus far, but I will do one video specifically tailored towards that. And what I've been doing is trying to basically make it optimized for us the best way possible, comfortable, easy to clean, not overwhelming and chaotic, peaceful, clean looking open space if possible, things like that. And it takes some time to figure that out. So the way that I would recommend anyone do it is that you declutter some, room by room, drawer by drawer, closet by closet, space by space, and do what you can. And then you live in it for a little while, live in it for a few weeks, fill it out, see what is still like those pain points for you, and then you do it all over again. So it's not going to be done in one weekend, one day. You can get a lot done in a weekend, in a day, but that's just a starting point. And then as you continue in life and you buy more things, you have more children, you're going to continue to have to revisit this. That's pretty much what I have been doing. This living room has definitely come a long way, guys. The television wasn't always up on the wall. We had like this gigantic TV stand, a couple more table services in here, and it's been coming along. So still a few more things that we need to work out here in this room. I can just look around and see, but it's definitely coming together. So we're gonna live in it for a few weeks and we're gonna revisit it again. The family room, we are like this close to being done with both actually, but especially that family room, like there are maybe 2 things in there that's a pain point for me at the moment, and it's not a huge issue. So yeah, there's that. So far, things are coming together. I really want to focus on my hallway soon because our hallway is where we kind of put a lot of things like on a bench. So if I can like figure out how to make us stop doing that, maybe put a basket there too. Is what I'm thinking. If I put a basket on the bench, we can start putting things in that basket. If ever there is like an area in your home where typically a lot of clutter builds up, those are those areas where I recommend you put a basket. If we could just handle it right away, we would, right? And I recommend that. But sometimes there are busy days, and those busy days are the ones that get you. You come in and you toss things down because you're in a hurry and everything, and that's also why we try to live more intentional and slower. We want to slow down on living so that we don't always feel rushed in that way. But last week was definitely a busy week for us. My son had church camp, swim practice. We had a dinner to attend, lots of different things. And so I'm looking at this bench in my hallway and it's cluttered. I have a diaper bag, I have a shopping cart cover, a few clothes, a blanket, and my son's swim bag. Those are the things that I'm referring to. So a basket on that in that area somewhere would be great, where I can put those things that we need to put upstairs at the end of the week if need be. So that's another really great tip when it comes to decluttering, especially like visual clutter. But as far as this here living room, we're done. We're gonna live in this space for a little while. Look at my husband and my son's gaming area, and we'll come back to that in a few more weeks. So we're just going through this journey together. Let me know if you're working on any decluttering projects as well. If so, comment below and let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, I hope that you would give it a like. It really does help my channel when you guys like my videos. It not only helps me to know what type of content you guys enjoy, what resonates with you, because I want to be able to help you guys in the best way that I can. I always want to share information that's like helpful, relatable. So if you guys like the video, then I know what you guys like versus what you don't like, and it also helps me to reach more people, so it's helpful for me a lot in that way, and I truly greatly appreciate that. So that's gonna be all for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Happy homemaking.